What is going on, everybody? Today I have a big time wheel set review. They are light, they are rugged, they are damn good value, and they are a perfect entry point for anyone who's thinking of switching to 650B for their gravel or adventure bike. It is the Hunt Adventure Carbon V2s. Let's do it. Hunt is a wheel brand that really needs no introduction. They are legendary for making damn good wheels that are pretty damn cheap. I got a pair to review with the Grove RAD gravel bike because Grove specs this as an option with their top level frame. And after nearly 2,000 Ks of really smacking them around, I've been damn impressed. In the box, you get a set of wheels that are pre-tubeless taped. You also get a cassette spacer, tubeless valves, which are pretty excellent actually, a pillar spoke key, 6-bolt rotor adapters, and 3 spare spokes and nipples. So straight off the bat, it is great to see Hunt ship with a bunch of spares. The stats on the wheels themselves are damned impressive considering they retail for $1,179 landed in Australia. They're a fairly modest 22 mils deep, but a very thick 30 mils wide. They're made of carbon and they have a special resin that's designed to reduce vibrations. The hubs are fairly unremarkable 6061 aluminium. There's 28 cross-lace J-bend spokes on both wheels. The spokes are stainless steel, the nipples are brass, and they each have a washer inside of them to spread the load of the nipple around the carbon. There's EZO Japan sealed cartridge bearings inside the hubs that have added protection from the elements, and a real star performer free hub. It's a 6-pawl 38-tooth engagement system, which means that it takes only 5 degrees to engage, which is very, very quick. Overall, the individual parts aren't really that remarkable, but when you bundle them all together, you get a really excellent all-round set. Setting them up was an absolute breeze. They went up tubeless, no worries. Put the valves in, put in sealant, mounted the tires with my Bontrager flash charger pump, and they have been absolutely flawless since. They've stayed up and no worries at all. I mounted some 48mm Panaracer Gravel King SKs, and those are what I've been using for the entire life of the wheels. All in all, the setup was an absolute breeze. If you're familiar with putting rotors on and you're familiar with tubeless, then yeah, you'll have no problems. Now let's talk about the ride, because the Hunt Adventure Carbons have a fantastic ride experience. The first thing that blew me away was how fast the free hub engages. For such a good value set of wheels, it's lightning quick and far quicker than much more expensive wheels that I've tested. So you don't get that annoying sort of clanging into the freewheel when you're pedaling, which is something that can creep in a lot with a 1x system with large gaps between the cogs. They also have a hilariously loud free hub. It's like a swarm of bees having a chainsaw fight. So everyone will turn around and look at you if they hear them going. The next thing that really impressed me was how smooth they are rolling. These bearings are very, very good. At 1.4 kilos for the set, you might expect them to feel really quick and lively, and they do to an extent. The problem is that these big tires add so much weight that you're basically offsetting the gains you get from the 650B carbons. The Grove weighs exactly the same with these wheels and tires as they do with a set of Alex Room Boondocks with 700 by 35mm Gravel Kings. So that's a far less expensive set of wheels that are about 300 grams heavier. So by the time you've added in big heavy tires, you've kind of offset all the weight gains you've made from the smaller 650s. Speaking of that, let's run through some reasons why you might choose 650 with a tire like this over 700 and a tire like a 33 to a 38.
Now, the great thing about this wheel and tire combo is that I can run it at 20 PSI set up tubeless, which gives me a great contact patch and a fair amount of grip. Not to mention the comfort gains that come over long rides. Whoa! It can do a lot to protect your body from all the bumps and whacks that come with road riding.
The 650 by 48 actually has a smaller total diameter than a 700 by a 33 mil. And that makes the handling very sharp. It changes the fork trail and speeds up the way it changes direction. So it's kind of a good compromise if you want a big air volume and a big contact patch, but you don't want the steering to be really slow. If I'd gone 700 by 43, that means a very big diameter, and that just slows the bike down a bit. Really just depends on how you want to ride. I think this is a good way to get good, exciting handling, but still have tons of rubber on the ground. My review period for these wheels has seen them be pretty thoroughly abused. I did a lot of gross wet winter riding on these, I've done some bike packing in crazy dry conditions, and generally just smashed them around the place. So I took them into a mechanic to have a bit of an autopsy done on them before I did my review. And they came out impressively well. The spoke tension is quite high, but it was still very even despite the beating that I'd given them. The bearings were still running very smoothly with a just tiny amount of drag perceptible because of that extra weather sealing on them. Well worth the compromise there. And they were arrow straight. Overall, the mechanic said he wouldn't even bother touching them if they'd brought them in for review. So the question now is, who are these wheels for? And I think they're for people who want to move into the 650B ecosystem. People who have a gravel or adventure bike that can handle this size, but want something that's light and lively and fun to ride, but also quite rugged. I found them to be a really excellent wheel set, and I've loved having them over the previous months. Now, another reason you might want to think of them is that these are a real price point killing wheel set. There's just not that many other alternatives that can compete in this price for what you're getting. And I do want to say that a lot about these wheels is generic, and I don't mean that as a bad thing. The hub shell is fairly generic, the spokes are fairly generic. What Hunt is really good at is optimizing everything to get the best all-round package. They squeeze the best of everything they can into it while keeping the price really low. So you get that excellent ride experience, you get ruggedness and reliability, and you still get a very accessible price. It really is a wheel set that's about the sum of its parts, because individually, apart from that quick free hub engagement, no one thing is amazing. It's just that the full package and the price is amazing. That's where I'm gonna leave it here, guys. The Hunt Adventure Carbon V2s have really impressed me. Thank you so much for joining me, guys. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I've also got written articles on La Velotuda about these wheels and about 700C versus 650B. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff really helps me out. Have a great new year, and I will see you in 2020.